Everybody, Scott Carson here with your note term of the day. And today's term is, what is legal balance? Now, when you get a spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet or a tape, as we call it in the industry, there will be different columns as far as what the borrowers owe. One of the most major columns is a term that we've talked about previously before, UPB, unpaid principal balance. Your UPB is not a payoff balance. A payoff balance would be your unpaid principal balance plus any interest or payments that are outstanding. Now, a legal balance is like a true payoff balance. It takes into consideration your unpaid balance plus any back payments. You've been paid for a year, there'd be 12 months of payments on there. Your late fees usually are 5% of the monthly payments, so the late fees be on there. And then any other legal costs that you've had to do, any other advances, like if you've had to pay taxes, you would add the taxes on there. If you had to do any forced place insurance on there, you would put that in there as well. Anything that's been advanced by the bank on behalf of the borrower to avoid a foreclosure or maintenance of the property, stuff like that, that would be added into your legal balance. Your legal balance is very close. It's basically your payoff balance. But we say legal balance because in notes, if you're buying a non-performing note, legal balance is making sure everything that's been paid has been added in there and will come into consideration when foreclosing. Because if there is a lot of equity, property is worth one thing and the UPB may, let's say the property is worth 200, UPB unpaid principal balance is 100, but legal balance may be 190,000, or there's 90,000 of back payments and other things associated there. That's basically only 10,000 in equity. All right, so one thing you got to look at is if your spreadsheets do have a UPB, but they don't have a legal balance, you will want to go in there and look at when the last payment was made or how many months behind they are, and add that there. You will also want to look at any type of escrow advances, or if there's a negative balance on an escrow statement or escrow column, that means that the bank has paid taxes and insurance on this property, and that number would be added in to your UPB plus late fees to figure out your true legal balance. So your legal balance is the true number that the borrower owes for everything. All right, not the UPB, not unpaid principal balance. What you have to be considerate of these days, when you have a lot of properties that have appreciated in value of the country, many sellers are not selling off of the UPB, the unpaid principal balance amount. They're usually going as a percentage off of legal balance when there is still above a lot of equity above the legal or payoff amount. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of equity. Most sellers are going to want you somewhere in the 80% range or higher on the payoff balance, which that means you're paying over 100% on UPB. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, it's a different situation. If the borrower owes more than the property is worth, then you're still going off a legal balance, but you're not going to be at 80, 90 cents a dollar. You'd be somewhere around 60 to 70% of the value when the legal balance is a whole lot higher, especially on a one-off asset, and assets worth more than $50,000. So legal balance is different than your unpaid principal balance. If there's not a column on there, the easiest way to do it is take your UPB, take the principal and interest amount each month times the number of months they have not paid, adding that to UPB, adding a 5% late fee to the back payments that weren't made, and then any other insurance or taxes that have been paid by the bank or the previous note holder. And that will give you roughly a legal balance. You can often get a legal balance from the servicing company to find out, hey, what's the payoff or what's the legal balance that we'll be asking for a judgment on or using to foreclose on this property. And that is your note term of the day. What is the legal balance?